Howdy, y'all. Thank you for listening to Buck Stop on Buck Sharpe Radio. Piece of shit radio. Fucking gosh darn. Welcome back, everybody. This is going to be episode 98 of Buck Sharpe Radio. Thank you all for tuning in. I want to take care of a couple of order of business before we really got started in earnest here, folks. First order of business is Randy. Let's see, Randy Colvin looks like he's the winner of last week's Ike Crossword Adventure. Now, Randy, if you would come on down by the station, get in contact with me on the radio or any which way you can, and I get pick you up your Glock 19. Congratulations, by the way. Now, for those of you that weren't paying much attention or didn't solve Ike's Crossword Adventure for yourself, the word of the week is quadriplegic. Now, we'll look forward, assuming Ike shoots us out another bit of gibberish, to host this again this week. So we'll be waiting out for that. Okay. And we got a whole bunch of just a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. But let's hit the most important first. I think at least Old Buck's prioritizing this as number one here. That is going to be Malthus's cult invasion. Now the cult of Papa, as you well know, had planned and talked about and be invading this whole place, I guess. Now it looks like, based on what I got told, from some of our guys on the ground, that the invasion started somewhere around Novodrimsk. The freaking place, it's got a giant ass fucking tower. It's got a giant clock up in it. It rings all the day long. It's a fucking ridiculous town. But apparently there's some skirmishers up in Novo. A fellow named Chernarus of the Chernarus Defense League. That's CDL for you acronym users. Fucking, are you serious? I mean, pocket. Polecat. What kind of fucking name is that, brother? Of the Polon Trade Union Security Forces, maybe, or something of that nature. He and little Shiny there got up into a little tiff up in Novo. Shiner apparently got stuck up on some kind of industrial building. Had sent some Brotherhood boys up there along with the pockets here to go take care of him. And apparently by the time they got there, just about everything was fucking done. It was worthless. The cult had moved on to do some other business. So, but nearby, let me tell you this. This is some other major news. Is y'all know St. Joseph's? And I talk about St. Joe's up in Chernarus, Poland about every week. St. Joe's is a dear friend. Of the station, great supporter of peaceful interactions and things of that nature. Well, just a true saint. Well, appears that fuck me, are you serious? Wretched rocket friends, and some of the old sore boys got up in a little gunfight with now steady on now. Cernobog. Now that's a name we heard around the station quite a bit. We used to kick that around. During some of our more doom and gloom radio broadcasts, but Cernabugs did as fuck. It is what I've been told, basically. Had a bit of an interaction there with Sword, and I guess that went pretty well for our fellas. I mean, if you claim them as the good guys, I suppose. I don't know, honestly, what's a bit better of those two. But got a note. I received a picture from a buddy from old Cernabag himself. So yeah, apparently that's a done deal. While we're on the note of the old racket frond here, appears that man has died. Old Leader's sword is apparently passed away this week at the hands of a cultist somewhere near the airfield, Northwest Airfield. Looks like there's a couple fellas up there with him. Appears that old Johnny Rotten, Johnny Rotten is up in there and got some first-hand account. I guess of what went down up in the airfield, and it's still a little hazy to me, but that's that. So good, bad, indifferent. I couldn't tell you. I tend to think that might be a good thing. We'll see, I guess. Oh, up around that same time, they had some sacrifices up in Altar. It'd be kind of fitting if it was Altar with a sacrifice. Sorry, that's a terrible joke. People got dead. But the old Hunters of the North. Now that's a new one to me, but I believe that they're sort of hunting group, a club of sorts that hangs up around the north, as the name would have it. Them and old, what? Come on, man. What? How you gonna do me like Ass Luke? S Luke? I'm gonna just say Luke. Ace Luke. Okay, with PTUSF. He and the Hunters apparently got themselves into a gunfight with the cult, and some of the damn sympathizers apparently. I don't know what you want to call them, but they's zealots maybe, or little war boys, and up of hex, right? got up in a gunfight around Altair and apparently slaughtered them, just a shit ton of them boys. So it apparently went fairly well, but it looks like old our boy Luke there was fairly well injured. Hadn't heard much about him. I will be certain to fill you all in the second old buck here. All right, yeah, there we go. Now wrapping up here. Now I got some sad news for all you lonely gents out there. It appears that the one and only Shadow Danzler was killed apparently up at Devil's Castle. Now based on the reports I got, and I'm looking at it right now, it looks like this was after most of the cult had got dead and all. So I don't know if that was an infiltrator. What I got here, though, on his pages is there's a bunch of speculation floating around and a bunch of people saying all kind of manner of business. And it appears, y'all know that shifty fucking fella. Can't even say his name was Straight-Faced Goose. Apparently, they're saying some of the boys of Sword is the one that did her in. Now, I don't know nothing about that to say one way or another, but let's say that ain't above what Sword would do. I don't have as much difficulty believing that as I would some other things if they told me, and I just say it's crazy. So we'll see. Again, like I said, Buck, try not to mislead you. I don't know yet, but I will let you know as soon as I do. Let's go page 2 here. What I got at page 2. There's been some talk. I heard some broadcast the other day about some kind of tribunal, whether it was a proposition set up. Man, here we go again. What are you folk in your crazy name? Lazar Wolf, old Lazar here. He wants to set up some kind of a court system, basically some kind of justice for Chernarus, and setting up a little Justice League or some such. Now look, I mean, I guess getting back to civilization that could be a good thing. I see it going a lot of ways, but. You know what? I think that could well be a good thing. Old Buck supports that. You heard it here first, folks. Buck is in full support of maybe getting this tribunal thing to work. Okay. Now, the first order of business, it appears that the tribunal is looking into. Now, and this, if you can believe it. Now, don't let this discourage you. All right, but Recluse of the Black Paw. All right, and this brings up old Goose again. All right, he's calling for Goose to stand trial for the murder. Get this. Of Shadow Danzler. Now again, we are talking. I don't know all the evidence. I hadn't heard everything or whatever. But that's some serious allegations, And we got a systemic, a pattern, And this isn't the first time we talked about Sword on this program. A pattern of violent, malcontent behavior from those boys, and frankly, it's a little disconcerting. This again is an allegation that it is hard to overlook. It just fits the bill, folk. Now, Buck ain't spoke that as truth exactly, but that's his gut, and you know how Buck's gut is, right? Oh, yeah, you do. So old Recluse of the Black Paw there, just a bunch of kindly old hunters up in the Black Forest there, they're calling our old Goose out. So we'll see what comes of that. Moving right along, we got this is one of the stranger stories. Some stories I got some friends down on the coast, right? So we got this Dr. Ivan maybe coming up in on a boat or some business. He's now hear this story out, okay? It's gonna sound a little wonky to you, all right? But hear it out. He wants to trade you gear, guns and such, or fucking pants or whatever. I don't know for your blood. Now hold up. Not like that other fool. You know who I'm talking about. He actually wants to trade you for his blood. Ain't no craziness about it, best I can tell, except Dr. Yvonne here's a little bit odd. But as far as I know, you give him a bag of your blood or transfusion or some business, and he gives you some gear, and he's using it now. And this is a direct quote, as far as I can tell, for unspecified research. Now, I know, we got all reasons to be wary about doctors proclaiming they want your blood for unspecified research. I think that the cult is testament to what may happen to kind of these rogue, creepy little doctors coming in from all over foreign places and whatnot. But, man, let's give this boy a shot. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we won't be burned this time. So take your piece with you, take you a buddy or two, and maybe you do all right. Maybe old Dr. Yvonne's the Briz, you know what I mean? So take that one with a grain of salt. So let's move it along. Talking about blood. Now we're going to slow things down a little bit here. Blood is important, folks. If you didn't know that, and I suspect many of you do realize how important blood is, not just to floating around up in your body and up in your brain and all that business, but what it's got inside of it. Now I know for most of you right now, just based on all the drunken fucking rants I've been hearing on the radio, that's alcohol, whiskey, precisely. That's up in your blood. And I'm not talking about that. That's all right for the most part, but duty. Ender Duty and his boys been collecting up the bodies, I guess, after this little campaign, burning and burying and quarantining all kind of bodies. Basically, they're taking kind of hardline stance on the infection, as it were. I'm not talking about the face biting little infection, people running up around and trying to eat you and all that, but I'm talking more about these genetic modifications and things the cult been after for a good bit of time now. You know what I mean? So their blood apparently is infected with the prions. Look, man, you know what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? But like they got some business up in there that ain't no good for us. So Ender says apparently this might be a bigger issue than we thought. So he's almost got like a contamination protocol in effect. And they up burning suspected things and doing all kind of craziness and trying to keep us clean. You know, and I appreciate that, boys. That's nothing that anybody else of us want to do, and I thank you for that. But they're a little cold, man. That Ender's a robot for sure. I mean, he doesn't even care one bit about old Shadow Dancer there getting dead, because apparently she had some interactions with a cultist or a former cultist or some creepy feller named the Minotaur or Satcha. I mean, it's a whole mess. I don't fully know what that's all about, but apparently that may be reading why some of these sword figures are up in there after her. I mean, again, that's the kind of thing they're all up into is the cult and collusion. So take that for what it is. Old Buck doesn't know for sure yet, but like I said, I find out for you. Probably next week, I imagine. Now getting back to number 3. Oh, this will make me smile. Okay. Y'all remember last week, and about every week before that, we got old Ike come on the radio. Well, we made a game of it. Now there's Ike's Crossword Adventure. Now we got some good prizes coming out. We got a few left to give. But in this week's Ike Crossword Adventure, he got another encoded transmission. You know, that gibberish. If you're fast on the radio and you listen at the right time, you can just about get most of that stuff down. Words and numbers and letters and all kind of bullshit, right? So like you get that down. Write that down if you hear all Ike come across the radio, and we'll have a little crossword puzzle. There's a word I'm looking for in old Ike's crossword, okay? You find it for me. You find me the word in Ike's crossword puzzle, I get you a gun. That's how it works. That's how we do things at the station here. But I went on after broadcasting that talking about some kind of some bang and forth with some of the PTU fellers about some red beret cat that got killed up in the north, up in the fucking on a railroad or some shit. I don't know, but they were thinking it was PTU and Ike, I guess. I don't know if Ike crazy or what the fuck was that? Fucking craziness up in the booth. Yeah. So we got some PTU talk there. And PTU always said they wear them blue berets and them blue armbands. They said that ain't us. Red, as you well all know. I imagine if you've been up at north at all, is that's a CDL. That's the Chernarus Defense League. Now I ain't saying that a CDL got popped up on the railroad tracks. Ike could be full of shit. He probably is full of shit. Crazy old cat is fucking radio crossword puzzle. You know what I'm talking about? But old Ike, let me just say, he said some red beret got killed, and if it was CDL, you know the military types. If it was a CDL guy that got popped, they ain't gonna tell you. They ain't gonna tell me. They ain't gonna tell anybody. So we'll see. I don't know what'll come of that. But going back, you remember last week's crossword puzzle with Ike? He shot out another one of those gibberish, and that's what old Randy just won that Glock 19 Ford for guessing quadriplegic out of it. That's going on you, Randy. That one stole the show for sure. But somebody replied to that man. You know who I'm talking about if you listen close to anything I talk about. Asian Styles. Now, Asian Styles here is a former or current, depending on your belief system, bureau agent. Now, this is a man that's all laden down with secrets, heavy with secrets, if you understand what I'm getting at. So he received the message from Mike and confirmed it. Now, I don't know if it's some kind of mind games they playing. If Ike and them, I couldn't tell you. I don't know yet. But I know that if old Asian's up in there, old Asian Styles he's a squirrely devil, and I wouldn't. It can't be good. I don't think it's good. But you heard it from Buck. I don't think it's good. Moving along. What got here? So, some short micro bursts of information I got for you. Okay, we got more Brotherhood. Brotherhood been all up in the news, stirring up all kind of trouble. Raven, the Brotherhood shoots out a real quick message the other day. Bring it in. Now I got some inside sources that seem to indicate that what he's talking about is getting all them Brotherhood, the sword mans and the fucking fire dudes up in up and together up at their little hack clubhouse or whatever, and he didn't sound none too pleased about it. I must say. So I don't know what that's about, but they imagine going to do some debriefing or training or for more killing. No one those fuckers. Whatever. We're moving on. Backtrack here with me. Remember Devil's Castle? I talked about Shadow Dancer getting killed up in that place, right? We got some more information here. The Hunters of the North, specifically Sean of the Hunters of the North. He talking about some other good Brotherhood. Fucking at it again here. This Webb. Now that's a relatively normal name. So Sean, actually, we had two normal names right in a row, fellas. Two normal names right in a row. That is a rare occurrence up in these parts. Well, Sean is saying that when Webb, apparently Brotherhood of Fire guy, some kind of guy that's the friend with old Tex, we'll get to him later, was killed. Now, at the Devil's Castle, again, this is all after the cult has allegedly been destroyed. Now, Sean's saying, it weren't me, I didn't do it, because apparently somebody said old Sean in the Hunters of the North had done it. But he said, now this is as best as I can quote, I was copying down pretty quick. He did consult about the shooting with the shooter prior to the shooting. Now, I don't know what you want to make of that, but that sounds dirty to me. How you going to talk to a man that shoot another man right before he shoot another man, and would you say, yeah, go ahead, shoot that man? I don't know what happened. I can't tell you what happened, but they're going to be more talking about this, let me tell you, and Buck will not drop the buck on this one. So, moving next along here, we got a little campfire story for you. Okay, this is something I want you to close your eyes, listen real close. Picture this: you out in the dark, cause shit, there ain't no fucking lights. It's dark as shit. You got a little fire on you, a little torch fire, and you're sitting around with some pals, right? Drinking fast or two. You hear a name you feel like you heard before, but you ain't so sure. Dr. Derpy. Nah, hear it out. It's a story kind of whispered around the campfire of a vengeful older doctor out in the midst of us, up among us, here to right wrongs or wrong rights or do whatever the fuck it is old crazy crotchety old doctors do, right? But let me tell you this little tip. You hear some crazy old coot coming up to you whispering, "Go home, go home." You take Buck's advice. You get off that astral plane right then and there. You quit that ride. You get to fuck off whatever you want and you get out of there. That doc wants you dead. So that's all I got from you, man. That's one of those campfire stories I just heard, and I figure I'd pass along. There's always a moat, if you will, a tiny bit of truth to those things. So moving right along here, we got some kind of, I picked up some chatter and had it a little bit confirmed through some of my sources about interrogation. Now, as you all know, Commander Wode, man, come on now, interrogating Sergeant, a.k.a. Traitor Tom, of the old PTUSF, the old commander back in his seat and all that, and about Tom now accused, possible involvement, about possible, note that, plot to kill old Johnny Rotten of the FMC. Now that's a tale right there. If there's a story in there, I do not know, but that's the accusation. We're gonna see what comes of that. So we'll see, folks. Now moving right along, talking about Johnny, old Johnny of FMC. There's a very emotional video put out a little bit earlier here, of Johnny. I'm speaking with old Tex. Now, Tex, as you may well know, is the leader of the Brotherhood of Fire. It's a fairly influential guy, real nice fella from what I hear. I heard him on the radio a good bit when we were broadcasting, some of our earlier episodes, and he just a kind-hearted man from everything I know. Okay, so old Johnny had talked with Tex about seeing Rocket get dead, and Tex didn't take that none too well. So Tex, if you're out there listening, I hope you're doing all right, brother. You come talk with old Buck. We'll see if we can't do some business. Lay off the alcohol, man. It ain't nobody no good. Never did. Oh, and as a side note, Tex now has officially stepped down from leadership in Fire, presumably to go deal with these things. I believe he's also is kind of some hearsay. We'll put that out there though, because this is what we about. You know what I'm saying? Getting the truth out there as best we can. May have been involved with the Shadow Dancer as well, and may have been a good good friend of hers or something. I don't know how all that went, but old Tango, he gonna be stepping up as far as leadership right now until they get back up on their feet. So Tex, we wish you well. All of you guys recovering from your wounds. I just, I hope the best for you. For you soul boys listening out there, man. I don't know what you're up to, man, but it ain't nothing good. Just quit while you ahead. You got some cultists under your belt. Cut your losses and get out of here, man. We don't want no more of your bullshit. All right. Now, next up is one of my personal favorites. I'm going to play you out with a little song here. My personal favorites, a man named Johnny Cash, singing you, God's Gonna Cut You Down. The fuck, that ain't no Johnny Cash on the fucking goddamn computer. I'm gonna fucking lose my mind if I can't get this shit ass fucking computer freaking bullshit. Welcome back, everybody. Again, I'm sorry. We're going to be doing a segment that's become kind of a recurring theme here on the Buck Stop, and fucking we'll get the hell that fucking taken care of as soon as I can. But got two retractions from Buck's retractions for this week. Now that ain't gonna top out our previous record of about 15 retractions, but two still more no Buck likes. First one, in a story I talked about during the old mouthful cult invasion there, named a feller stuck up on top of an industrial building, and I apologize, old Buck apologized. He was eating some Chernarus chips, and apparently I think I may call that boy after a chip bag. The boy name ain't Chernarus, it's actually Perfure. The fucking name of the fucking Purifier. We're gonna go with Purifier. That's a CDL boy up on that tower. That's Purifier. And I'm very sorry about that, Mr. Perfure. We'll get that corrected for the next time. So moving right along. Number two this evening. Named a feller of Lazar Wolf when we were talking about the presentation of the tribunal, and I figured go ahead and set the record straight there, as Gil and I recently talked about the tribunal coming up in point counterpoint. That's going to be a gentleman by a fella name of Judge Richter. Judge Richter. Now, old Judge Rooster is a fellow that actually has presented this tribunal proposition and is potentially going to be serving as a judge, Judge Rooster himself. So That's all we got this week for Buck's retractions, and I hope not to see you next week. I hope next week just flawless. So take it easy, everybody. Thanks.
Welcome once again to Point Counterpoint, a service provided here by us to you, the community, in the form of an editorial led by myself, your friend Golden Gill Fenlay, and Buck Sharpe. Buck?
And hello all. Thank you again for coming down Point Counterpoint. It's going to be a good evening. We got a whole bunch to talk about this evening. Primarily starting with the tribunal proposed here by Judge Richter. Richter. It's Richter. Fellow calling himself Judge Richter. Now I got several points to make about this. I know Gil and I have been of some opposing opinions, but I feel that we can make some headway tonight. How about that, Gil?
Oh, that's mighty fine, Buck. I think that we can. I think we can chew on the fat a little bit on behalf of all the people.
Absolutely, I feel like it'll be fairly beneficial for us all. Let's dig right in, Gil. I got a point to make right off the bat now. Now, for those of you listening to the Buck Stop earlier today, I feel like you may have heard, maybe if in case you didn't pick up on this, I did come out, and this is Buck's word again. Buck did come out in support. I say again, support of this tribunal and this grand experiment going to be going down. And I'm gonna lay out why for you. I'm gonna lay that out right now for you. Okay. I feel that that one thing we've been lacking here in Chernarus is some form of stability. You know what I'm saying? Some kind of a government, if you will, a governing legal body, some laws, right, wrong, all that manner of business. And I truly feel that this is going to be just an excellent opportunity for us to move forward, right foot forward. Over to you, Gil. What you got?
Well, as a matter of fact, I fundamentally disagree with the concept that we're supposed to agree to these tribunals, put our faith in these tribunals. I do not even know, and I would venture, despite some claims that he has been walking these lands for some time, I have not until just this week heard of this Judge Richter. And as a matter of fact, I believe that anybody should be awfully wary about some son of a bitch who comes out of nowhere, drifting in with the wind, suddenly making a name for themselves, and suddenly trying to have some kind of influence or opinion. It's diabolical, is what it is. And I think that we need to be careful not to invite the devil into our own homes, and more importantly, let him preside over us in a court of law.
No, I'm gonna have to stop you there. Fucking Richter here has proven himself, I believe, in the short time I have heard of him, roaming about these places. He comes fairly highly recommended, is my understanding. A fellow of a pretty high moral standing compared to what we have to deal with on a regular basis here. Now, old Buck ain't saying that things are gonna be peachy right from the get go. That's not what I'm saying at all. I don't want to misrepresent that to you. I got no idea at this point in time if this can work. What Buck wants to lay out for you is that this is a step in the right direction. This is a start to something great. A start to some return to law and order. Some return to normalcy for the majority of us out there that ain't got no recourse. Now, we ain't like the militaries. We ain't like these big groups that got somebody stand up for us. This is our way. This is our way to get justice. I think that maybe it ain't Richter. Maybe that ain't the man for us. I don't know. Maybe he ain't it. But I think he got some good ideas, and I think that putting forward, he put a list of names forward. And Gil, I assume you got that list as well. Let me read off what I got here.
Yes, I have the list in my possession, Buck. But why do you do us all a favor? You name a couple of these supposed tribunalists. I'm gonna go get myself a beverage.
All right, Gil. Oh, you do that now. Now I'm gonna say we got obviously the head lead of the tribunal, the instigator, if you will, is gonna be old Judge Richter. And old Rooster here, he's heading it up, kind of coming up with the ideas, and he's named some of these other fellas, and I assume you'll be familiar with a fair number of them, and possibly not as familiar with some of the others. Try and a tribunal obviously stands for three. That indicates that aside from old Rooster there, it's going to be the two other fellows. And that one, the first one proposed right now is Woday, commander type of the Polon Trade Union security forces. He was presented. Now I heard some mishmash traffic there, kind of back and forth between Rolando. And as you know, that going to be the leader of the PTU, as it were, the trading bits, the guy behind all the trading and all that. He seemed to not really want Woday involved in this, fearing that it maybe be kind of controversial, which is reasonable. I suppose that's a possibility.
Well, I hate to quibble with you. I don't understand what the conflict of interest is. Hasn't it been within the purview of the Polana Trade Union this entire time to stand by as a neutral party? Isn't that in fact why Woday and his men, back when they were what was the fellow? He was a young fellow, sharp of eye. Ace Luke. Ace Luke was in charge for a time. But the point remains, they were brought on as neutral security and diplomatic individuals to help ensure that when people were getting together, they were butting heads. They were ready to put it together like rams. You see, Woday and his men there, they were supposed to be the ones who kept the peace and kept it neutral and kept things on the same level for all parties. So I don't see what the big deal is if that's what their goal is.
Now, Gil, I see where you're coming from. I think I see where you're coming from. I'm not saying exactly that ain't what they do, but I tell you, the point remains. The findings of this court, that this is going to be a judicial deciding body of people, right? Now, if Woday's up on that court as a representative of the PTU, they're gonna make a decision that not everybody's gonna like. And frankly, old Yolando there is fairly reserved about these kind of decisions. He doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. He got trade to think of. He got kind of unity to think of. I think his argument was
it sounds spineless to me, Buck. It sounds spineless.
That's a large part of trading, my friend. Is
this idea that we are supposed to trust them to be neutral, but they're not supposed to make any neutral decisions on our grow some spine. Have yourself a little whiskey, get some hair on your chest, Rolando. That's what I would suggest.
Now, Gil, I feel like as Roland has been a fairly dutiful sponsor of this show in the past, and we have fairly heavily featured in previous episodes the Polana Trade Union and their wares pretty far and wide. I would be remiss if I did not mention that we have some good business from Roland. I don't want to ruin those ties. What I will say is that Gil, that ain't really our business. And I think that in favor of keeping business and communication lines open, Roland's got a reasonable assertion here that maybe Woday ain't the man for the job. Not that he's incapable.
Who the man for the job is?
Who's that, Gil?
That fella that they call Enda. Enda of I believe they call themselves Duty. He seems to be just the man for the job. Now, I've been keeping my ear to the ground, so to speak, in between my broadcasts, and that's a pragmatic fella. That's a man that really likes to cut down to the cold, hard facts of a situation. Doesn't seem to be troubled too much by the wailing of women or the over emotional taps, and I just can't imagine that he would allow personal feelings or prejudices to get in the way of a verdict.
I'm not saying Ender a bad choice. I think he may well be, but that one not really proposed. Actually, of the names I got here, I got three names in addition to old Rooster there, and that's going to be Commander Roday, as we talked about. That's going to be Razzle Dazzle's. Goodness, man, what?
Well, you can consider me putting his name in the hat then. Congratulations, Ender.
Oh, okay. So we'll go ahead and add that one. I suppose. Let me jot that down. And okay. Okay, so folk, we got now fourth entrant at fifth maybe, depending how the way you count, if you count Rooster. We got it. We got Wode, we got Endwar, we got Razmodaz here. And we had another entrant is well proposed. Yarillo, Garillo. He a fella that a lot of folk know, fairly peaceful fella. And you know, honestly, old Buck thinks that'd be a pretty good choice for a neutral type, somebody that ain't really ruffled many feathers, ain't really had no need to. What you think about that, Gil?
Oh, I've never heard of the man in my life. I couldn't pretend to venture a guess at the man's motivations or credentials. Um, but you know, I guess I don't know him from Adam, so maybe he's no more or less neutral than the next man.
And I tell you, I had a few dealings with old Yarillo just in passing through friend to friend and that
What
sort
kind
of
of
thing.
name is that?
I could not tell you, Gil. I just I truly couldn't.
I mean, Buck,
It's right
you
up there
listen to
with
some
some
of
of
the
the other ones I
fucking
heard.
jokers that come around here with some of the names they try to jot down on our entry forms and our pieces of paper and our ad submissions. It's a fucking joke.
Nah, Gil. That maybe will be his given name. I'd caution you that a name like Gil might draw the same kind of ire from other folk. Now I'd say that we'd be respectful of folk, especially if they're the thing they're motivating and all that. I couldn't say. Now I know some of these fellas just making up crazy fucking names to just go to town on stuff. I don't know why, but that's their business. That's their business. Let's sweep back on the topic. How you feel about my boy Raz there as a neutral party?
Oh, that seems a sharp-tongued lad. Here's what I like about this Raz fella. He calls out just about everybody that is under the sun. He makes lots of friends and enemies from what I've seen. And he's said some of the frankly frankest stuff I've ever heard about some people that he's to my understanding are some of his closest friends. Uh, perhaps that's why they're friends. I could only venture a guess. But he's an outspoken lad, and he leads with his gut. And I'll tell you one thing: if Golden Gill respects one thing in this world, it's someone who goes with their gut.
Yeah, amen, that brother. I'm a fucking right there with you. That's what I'm talking about. Now, the only reservations I got is kind of going to be our wrapping up type topic here. This is the main event, if you will. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Yeah, old Judge Rooster said that this entire court thing is in response to an unnamed third party that wishes to be arbitrated by more than, now hear me out, more than the Polana Trade Union. This ain't just an argument, but this is a court that want to set up for this mysterious third party that ain't never been mentioned. Now, so some of y'all know a little hunting club out to the north there, the old Black Paw, and those fellers been up and down hunting all kind of manner of business up in there peacefully for a number of years now. The recluse of the Black Paw has motioned to bring Goose into this fledgling tribunal for murder charges against good old Shadow Landh there. And again, that was something that we featured rather heavily at Buck Stop early in the morning. For those of you that didn't tune in for us, old Shadow Landh was killed on this last Saturday now, that the 30th, I believe that was, up at Devil's Castle. And it appears, and you know, if you got something different, you tell me. But it appears that that was done after most of the cult fellers had died, in fact, and a lot of suspicion flying around. I hadn't been able to confirm a whole lot of it, but it appears it was some of the sword boys, and specifically per Recluse's request here, Goose of sword that done her in. So now that you got kind of the backdrop for that, let's bring that one to the table, Gil. What you think about that?
Well, I can tell you, Buck, that I do happen to have a man who was had his feet on the ground in some of those final moments
That's so.
there at the castle. Well, you know me, Buck. I know how to run a network. I do have friends in just about any corner, and sometimes I'm pleased to have the scoop over you, who who is obviously been much more diligent in keeping up with things than myself. But from what I understand, the only thing that anyone's been able to truly confirm is that one of these fellas with a yellow armband is responsible for well, for all of the shooting. To my understanding, there that happened up at the castle. A fellow with a yellow armband and wearing green was responsible. Now I've heard it was Goose. I've heard it was the Caveman. See what I'm telling you about these names, Buck. The Caveman, and I also have heard that it was this Webb fella, a member of Fire, who, to my understanding, from my report, was not wearing the supposed Fire uniform of black with yellow armbands, and so, he may have been mistaken for one of the others, but. I can't imagine that everyone who was already tired of fighting all day, is just gonna go shooting around. I've heard some rumors, and what I understand is that this fellow Webb may be more responsible for things that happened than we've been led to believe. And that being the sense, I think that this whole business with Devil's Castle might already be a nice wrapped up little package. Nothing that needs to be fussed about no more. Nothing that needs to be bled for no more. Everyone just needs to let what is be.
Now, Gil, I'm gonna have to maybe disagree with you there as a counterpoint, if you will, to your point. But now I got a fella from what I know on the ground. I'd say that may not be the case, Gil. I think that maybe there's some atoning needed to be done. Now, I can't say I don't know much more what you said about the shooting or anything like that, but old Shetland there was pretty well liked little lady. And I'd say that
Well, I imagine
somebody
that
got
any
to do some
lady
talking
that's still
for
alive these days is rather
now
well
Gil
liked.
Gil. I'm just saying
I've
some old lady
seen
got
how you
killed.
look at Virginia, Buck.
Yep. We had this discussion time after time. I ain't gonna fucking do no more. I'm not fucking interested, sir. I just but I think that the point of this tribunal, whenever it comes down to, is that somebody got dead and somebody needs to pay for that. That's what old Buck thinks. You heard it here first, folks.
Well, I suppose that's all that needs to be said, then, Buck.
I'd say that about wraps it up. We got our point, as it were, and our kind of points in, as that's the name in the program, really. But folks, I hope that some of these opinions shared today, now that you take some of heart, you do some thinking for yourself, and you find out what it is you want to do. Whether you think like Gil, this is done with, this is a good done deal, or you subscribe to old Buck's view that maybe something more need to look into. But you tell us, all right? Please tune in next week and hit us up on the radio to tell us some other things maybe you want to talk about.
As stated previously, we maintain Point Counterpoint as a community service, as we are a community-oriented station, and it is with the support of listeners like you that we are able to endure.
True that, Gil. True that. Guys, as always, now you stay strong out there. Keep on listening to old Gil and Buck on Buck Sharpe Radio. And we'll talk with you next week. Have a good time. Good time.
And now, as the sun sets in the west, the magic time is upon us. Welcome once again to The Golden Hour with Golden Gil Fenlay.
Welcome once again, my friends. Have yourself a seat. Come, sit a spell. I'm your host, Golden Gil Fenlay, and you've joined me once again for the Golden Hour. Now, I know you've heard the jingle 100 times. Well, getting close to 100 times now, but perhaps you never properly considered what it is that I mean by that. And when I say when I say when my very lovely friend Virginia says in my intro in the jingle about the time of magic, the magic hour, the golden hour, and what I mean by that is that in that special time, my friends, in that special time between the day and the night, that is a special time. Ask pagans. Ask people who believe in ritualistic magic. So first and foremost, that's already all you really need to know. But it is as we transition from the nighttime to the daytime where we stop being the selves we have to be professionally in front of other people. When we let our hair down, we have a couple drinks, loosen up our bolts a little bit, and get ready to experience and to live and to be. And that is what the golden hour is all about. It is about that experience. I have often called myself an explorer of the human experience, and I can tell you that that does not come easily in this life. It becomes easy, as many of you probably already know, as many of you already do, to just sit idly by, rest your weary head down beneath a tree trunk, read a good book, scavenge for what you can, stay out of sight. Maybe you get yourself a couple of crops going on some back 40 somewhere in this desperate and war-torn land. There's a few parcels out there no one's really laid eyes on for quite some time. I'm sure you can find yourself a place, but that's not how you experience the world, my friend. That's not how you experience things. Inside a book is stagnation. It's death. Walk the roads. You want to go and walk the roads, and you want to meet people. You want to experience people. Now, don't have a dirty mind here when I say this, although that also is what the magic time, the golden hour, is all about. But you have to get a sense of people's flavor, because everyone that you meet in this world has a flavor. Some people salty, you know who I'm talking about. Some people sweet, you know who I'm talking about. But what's important is that you go out there and taste all the types of experiences that there are to experience. Now, of course, many of you are feeling some of that experience, perhaps sourness, saltiness, and any way else that I could relate the sensation of sorrow. This has been a very difficult week. With the end of the cult invasion, we are, of course, overjoyed. Nothing brings me more pleasure, nothing brings all of us here at the station more pleasure than providing this bit of escape and experience to you. But we too, and we know you have as well, been touched in your heart by this turn of events, and there are a lot of salty faces, a lot of tearful, grieved faces. I've seen many of you in my own travels, and I just want you all to know that Golden Gill lost people over this last week himself, and we've lost some of the folks that we've had here at the station for some time, and it's been a lonesome week, my friends. It's been a lonesome week, but I just want to acknowledge that we're all still here. We're all still kicking. And just because we lost one or two or more friends, allies, whatever, broadcasting brothers, whatever the reason may be, it's not the end, and there are more flavors to dance across your tongue, and you just gotta make sure that you're going out there and tasting. And here's a taste of something that will hopefully get us out of this dour mood I've started our 98th episode in. I'm very sorry, everyone. Enjoy this hit, Shiny New Thing by the Taxometer Cabriolets. Well, that was just really something, wasn't it? Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the grumblings I've been keeping my ear to the ground for, and it seems there's a few boys and girls out there who didn't quite get the message about what happened this last week. You see, and by the way, let me point this out. I don't have a whole lot of faith put into this council or this coalition or this rebel alliance or whatever it is that they're calling themselves. As it were, old Golden Gill is a free man. Now, no one owns me, no one represents me unless I have a vote on that, have a say. I don't remember making my way to the polls. Maybe you all did. I don't recall that. But suddenly there's some sort of governing body. Last time we had a governing body that everyone was too concerned with, those spirited fellows in the black berets. Nobody took too kindly to that. Met with all kinds of hostility. Nobody seemed to think that was good. But this new shadow government, that's fine. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's all just be okay with the G-men, the hollow men in suits that are meeting in some dingy warehouse, if rumors are to be true, deciding what's right for you and me. No thanks. Golden Gill's gonna sit this one out. And if I may, I think you might want to do the same. However, now there's a bad boy and a bad girl. They have a sense of history, maybe a sense of romanticism, one might call it. They refer to themselves as Bonnie and Clyde. Now, I'm not calling either one of you a liar, Bonnie and Clyde. Maybe you really are just two individuals, Bonnie and Clyde. You know, it's a funny thing what they say about ideas that when enough people get behind it, that it takes on a life of its own. Maybe you're just the idea of Bonnie and Clyde playing itself out across time, across life and experience. Maybe you're just a couple of people that happen to have some kind of deal going on, and you just happen to be named Bonnie and Clyde. I don't know. Maybe old Gil's the one reading too much into this, but from what I heard come up on the radio, they're not on the cultist side, and they are not on this council side. They say that they are on their side. That's a mighty fine thing, friends. Having your own side. There's a lot of, and I'll tell you one thing, old Gil knows a thing or two about two-bit hucksters. But there's a lot of two-bit hucksters out there that want to make you think. Pardon me, I'm into my beverages. There's a lot of two-bit hucksters out there who want to make you think that there are only two sides, two choices, either side of the fence, black or white, this or that. These are men who either have experienced so little of this world and all the majesty and tragedy in it that they don't know what they're talking about, or they're lying to your face. There are not two sides, and that you must be on one or the other. There are many sides, but the most important one that you can have is your own. Be on your own side. Anyone else that wants to be on your side, well, that's a mighty fine thing. Having friends, family, people that'll stand by you. But what you shouldn't do is go expecting some group of busybodies who think that they get to make decisions on your behalf that don't involve you in what they're doing other than to show up with guns and fight. Maybe these aren't the people that you should consider on your side. This council wants you to be on their side. How about they be on our side? Way it was told to me, there was a pretty little thing named Sarah who was picked up by some of these cult boys, or some of these the leather jacket fellas from Gorka, the helmets, real gang stuff. Some kind of motorcycle group. I don't know. Have a taste for flesh. It's this thing that happens these days, I suppose. But regardless, this pretty little thing, just barely out of her youth, reportedly barely even a woman, and she's gone now. She's gone, and I can tell you that I have, within my network of contacts, someone who was connected with the radio communications being passed around by this council. And there was a very clear order that nothing was going to be done initially about this woman, and that it was pretty curtly said by commanders in the field that this woman was unknown, that the council did not know who she was or who she belonged with. And it was decided that she was expendable. And that's fine. Listen, folks, Golden Gill's he's seen lots of people come and go. Friends, enemies, everything in between. It's just a fact of the world. But you can bet dollars to donuts that the council was not on that girl's side. They didn't care about her. In fact, way I heard it, the decision to go and rescue her is a case of insubordination. Someone defying this shadow government. So something to keep in mind out there, that you don't get caught up in a lot of fancy talk, that you don't get caught up in a lot of foolish idealism and posturing and preening and standing above everyone. Don't get caught up in that. It's not about standing above other people. It's about standing together with the people that are your own. The people that are on your side. Perhaps a little food for thought for all you, my friends, out there. Now, Virginia, did you give me something foul to drink this evening? Every bit that passes my lips is putting me in a foul mood. To help cure my foul mood, friends, how about we have a little ditty from Zucchi Crothers and the Macon Gentlemen with this classic, Come Hither. Welcome back, my friends. I regret to say I'd hoped to find myself in a bit of a better mood here back after that last piece, and I was, but my darling Virginia started asking me some questions about mysterious lights. Now, I understand that many people, as of late, according to who's been running the mouth on the radio, have experienced these bizarre lights in the sky, unexplainable lights in the sky, which is interesting. Brings to mind thoughts of a little green man and flying saucers and spooky government projects and the like. And well, I gotta tell you, folks, I'm a bit of a skeptic most of the time about what people say, the tales that people tell. If you haven't noticed, old Gil's got hot for stories and maybe a bit of a storyteller. And anyone who has a real passion to tell the story also has a bit of a passion to tell a little bit taller tale, perhaps, than ever there truly was. However, old Gil has seen some strange things out there, walking those roads, walking into dark places, and kind of places that you read about in storybooks, old bars and the back roads of America. I assume that there are such places here in Chernarus, but I grew up where I grew up. These places out way in the unknown, the boonies, I remember we called them, and places that you walk down them, you can't shake the unsettling feeling that starts sinking into your bones and commences you to goosebumps. A little sense that something strange is watching you, is aware of you, it feels you, maybe even tastes you. These places, they do not feel this way by accident, my friends. It is because there is indeed something interesting and unique and very special there. Perhaps it is a place where demons once walked. If you've heard some of the folk stories of back home, and if you have such a fondness in your heart for jazz and folk music as I do, you get to start hearing stories of crossroad deals with beautiful women and sinister men and everything in between. Deals to give you your heart's desire. And this is not one story. It is not one belief. It is 1,000 stories in many different traditions. It is not an accident that crossroads are considered to be such a sinister place. And when I was just a wee one, when I was just a boy, walking out in those woods, in those swamps, I've seen my share of strange things, strange lights. They danced and bobbed along the water and transfix you, hypnotize you, and draw you in. Called them the wisp, the will o' the wisp, as my grandpappy used to say. But those are old stories from an old country. I doubt that these fairy tempters and monsters would follow my grandpappy and his family all the way across the waters. But I seen what I saw, and those lights were real. And there weren't no neighbors fooling around with lanterns out in the marshes. And it wasn't tricks of the eye or an overactive imagination. The lights. Were they spirits? People maybe who've been drawn into the marshes to meet their doom? Forever cursed to wander those lonesome places? Perhaps. Are they aliens? The little green men, I joked about it. I truly do not know. But I suppose what I'm saying is, unless you've walked in all the places and you've seen all the things, maybe you ought not assume too much about what really is out there or not. And with that, I think we'll have ourselves a little listen to a fine thing that I have found out there. This fella really knew how to lay it down. His name was Pretty Boy Percy Langell, and this is what I would consider to be his masterpiece, Scrape Two Coins Together. Enjoy. And welcome back. I figured that we only had a few minutes left now, and I'm never really sure that this is ever anything really close to an hour, but I suppose that speaks to just how damn magical the golden hour is. I just wanted to take an opportunity now to maybe read a couple of things that I've found that have been delivered to me in my journeys. Some notes that have been found across these lands that maybe the person intended them never got to see it. Maybe the person who wrote it just kind of left it somewhere for their convenience and hoped that it would find its way into the right hands by the serendipity of the fates. And you know what? Old Golden Gill's gonna do his best to try to let that play itself out. See if we can make a connection and get one of these messages across on the air that it never did while it was merely paper. So first things first, it's a never-ending fight trying to keep this place in good spirit. but there are those few who fight on, and I salute you. I've been lurking for a few days now. Lurking, that's a regretful word choice. I've been lurking for a few days now, but have only come across one person. Sadly, he took his own life. I can't really blame him. This hellhole. It's just nice to see this place being restored again. I've dropped a few things off that I've collected on my journey. I'm sure they'll be put to use by someone. Good luck, and God bless. Ganja Man. Ganja Man. People with these names, I swear. Let's see. I came to make a farm and maybe catch a fish. Glad to see this is maintained. I believe some of these are taken from one of the tents at the famous St. Joseph's Cathedral. I came to make a farm and maybe catch a fish. Glad to see this is maintained. Last time I was around, there was only a single tent. Right now, I see 6+ tents. I'd hate to see what aside. I just wonder why he was not more specific. It seems like even a poorly educated man could competently guess at a specific number near or approaching or barely past 6, but I digress. Although I found a human stake sitting on the ground outside, almost like a warning of the people in the area. I better keep my eyes open. Dirty bong tokes. You know, I'll tell you, folks. Now, there's a lot of wisdom that you're going to find in a glass of whiskey. That's a fact. Anyone who wants to tell you otherwise has an agenda, and it's a sinister one, and you had best back off and watch yourself. But I tell you, all this dumb weeds that the kids are smoking, that they are putting into their pipes and imbibing, it's not right, and the kids aren't right, and this is why. Ganja Man, dirty bong tokes, you know what I'm talking about. Let's see. God damn, there are way too many of these notes in here from Ganja Man. He has been, apparently, he is a prolific writer. Here we go. This is a letter that was found outside of the station, and it seems rather passionate. It reads, I am madly in love with you. It only took me a week, and I was already fallen. Your little smile, the kisses you place all over my back, the way you pull me in closer in the middle of the night, the way you look up at me when we make love. This is steamy. I mean, this is some good human stuff here. These are all the reasons why I am so passionately in love with you. You are the missing piece I had given up on finding, the other half of my heart. You are the one I want to wake up to next to and fall asleep with every single night and morning. The only one I can imagine spending the rest of my life with. It's you, and only you, my love. Signed, H. The letter H. I could only guess who H is and who they intended that letter probably to. If you think you know who H is, if you think you might be this person, take heart. There's someone who loves you very much. And finding love is something that the golden hour is all about. If you think you might know who H is, or who H wanted this letter to go to, write to us here at the station. Old Golden Gill is always interested in making a love connection, bringing a little peace of mind, a little passion, a little bit more flavor back to these lands. But of course, unfortunately, now all this running at my gums has has made me rather tired. So and my throat exceedingly dry. So we're going to leave it at that for this evening. I want to thank all of you for joining us once again. Don't forget about us now. Come on back next week, and we'll have another splendid and splendoriferous edition of the Golden Hour.
Thank you for joining us once again. The Golden Hour is only possible with the support of listeners like you and a generous donation from a mysterious benefactor. Please come back next time and sit a spell with old Golden Gill, won't you?
Is anyone out there? It's Plato Jones, transmitting on this piece of shit radio I found. We had to abandon the station. Something went wrong. Major battles, tons of gunfire. I'm the only one left that I can tell. Maybe a few others got out and scrambled into the woods. I'm lost as hell. I don't even know where the heck I am. So, if you can hear me, come back now.
You're listening to The Danger Zone with Hazard Collins on Buck Sharpe Radio Live, the most unbiased news you can get. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we get started today, I want to take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, Stanny's Auto Shop down in South Zagoria. Now, his company called Pakistanis Auto Shop, they sell truck parts, VS3s, and other mechanical doodads that you could want or need, but mostly want. So thanks again for Pakistanis Auto Shop and all the work they do to keep Buck Sharpe Radio on the radio. All right, now moving on into today's topic. It is a fine Friday afternoon, and we've got an update for you. First and foremost, I just want to say our show will be running a little shorter than normal because Buck Sharpe himself, in the flesh, ran over his time, and that has pushed our programming off the air a little early. Now, I won't say anything, but Buck, just because you're my boss doesn't mean you have to be a dick. So the first thing we're going to dive right into is sports. All right, moving on. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Now, I know we haven't talked about sports much lately here. In case you didn't know, newsflash, it's the apocalypse. Everyone is dead. Everything you ever loved is dead. Michael Jordan is dead. So, sports hasn't really been a happening thing lately. But today, I've got some news for you sports enthusiasts. We've got a new game in the making. Last Monday was the first game ever played of this new sport called, you won't guess. Literally, you won't guess. It's called Pepsi Ball. Now, Pepsi Ball sounds every bit as exciting as it seems. You have a Pepsi can, and then you have a field, which is very asymmetrical. There is no order. I cannot stress enough. There is absolutely no order or reasoning to the field's layout. You have 2, possibly 3 opposing teams, and you have 2 goalposts. One of them has a net behind it, and the other one had a flag with a pirate skull and crossbones waving in the wind. I'm not sure if any of these were actually related to the game itself because no one scored, so we don't really know. Needless to say, the game was a sports game that was at least something to watch. That's what most people seem to say. That's what the general consensus was. It was something to watch. Now, again, this was just the very first game, but it seemed like the players, nor the teams, nor the fans had any clue how the game was played. But it was definitely played. And let me tell you, there was sports action all over the field. I mean, there was sports action over here, some sportsy action over there. You weren't really sure what it was, but it was definitely sports action, and there was no denying it. Needless to say, we're all very excited for what Pepsi Ball has the potential to turn into, and it will hopefully give us one less death-oriented thing we have to think about. Now, I know you're all kind of wondering the same thing as me. You think this will ever take off like the old National Football League? I'm not so sure. But definitely in South Zagoria and Chernarus, there is some Pipsy ball in your future. All right, keep an eye on that, and we'll report as the week goes on when we get any new information on the formation of a league, perhaps, and some more teams. Anyways, so we're going to move right in today, people. We've got a couple topics I want to get to, and most importantly, I want to get to the danger zone. Now, the danger zone is kind of the meat and potatoes here at Buck Sharpe Radio. We're going to talk about a conspiracy that is a-brewing. But before we even do that, we're going to jump into the radio frequencies. Now, what is the radio frequencies? That is the header that I wrote down on this flimsy piece of paper that was supposed to remind me that Buck Sharpe Radio is coming to a radio frequency near you. Now, you may already get Buck Sharpe Radio. If you didn't, I assume you wouldn't be listening to me. But if you don't get it, which again, you wouldn't be listening to me, you will be getting it soon. Buck Sharpe Radio is expanding its radio frequencies in the coming months as soon as the infrastructure for a radio tower is finished. Now, word on the street is Green Mountain is being developed into that radio tower. No final word on its completion, but when it's ready, you can all tune in and we will announce the local frequency at a later date. All right, we are burning through the topics here. I'm really honestly not sure how I still have a job because we are going to get through our topics pretty fast this morning unless we get some calls. That's not a plea, it's just a request. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is your favorite time of the day. It is 12:35 p.m. on a Friday, and we are going to jump right into the danger zone. Today's topic, a second shooter. Now, you may or may not have heard about this on any other radio channels you might listen to. They are all worthless garbage except Buck Sharpe Radio, but I digress. Today we are talking about something that has shaken Chernarus to its core. Many of you may know that Shadow Dancer was shot in cold blood. Now, the investigation is still ongoing, but this was during the cult invasion of Chernarus. Now, at the very end, the tipping point of the battle, if you will, it appears that she was gunned down by a member of the Brotherhood of Sword. This may be old news to you. Why am I bringing it up? Because we've got some interesting documents here that may shed some new light on the shooting. We have uncovered some pretty damning digital media. Now, who is it damning of? We don't know, but we're going to find out, and we'll get to the bottom of it. We recently have uncovered an image of the shooting, the final moments before Shadow Dancer was gunned down in cold blood. And I have provided that image for you all to see, and I will be passing that out as well. You can visit your local bar and tavern to find the image, and it clearly depicts something that wasn't in the original footage. A second shooter. You heard me. Moments before Shadow Dancer was gunned down, we know one thing for sure. There were Glock rounds being fired. That's a handgun for those of you that don't know. If you don't know what that is, you're probably already dead in Chernarus, so let me start over. That's a Glock, and it was firing. We are 100% certain that that was the firearm that killed Shadow Dancer. Now the question is, what was the AK fire going on in the background? An AK is an automatic rifle that was being fired at the exact same time as the Glock. Conspicuous? Suspicious? Whatever word you want to put there? Absolutely. And you aren't in the danger zone for nothing, because we are coming after you. We will find out what happened. Now, according to this image, which I have dispersed now and you'll get to see, it very clearly depicts someone in the corner of the building at the castle base with a rifle pointing at Shadow Dancer. Could this be the real shooter? We went in. We investigated the film from start to finish, to start to finish. And it was very obvious. Something that didn't dawn on us until just now. it's very clear that Sword was not intending to shoot Shadow Dancer. Now, they have a long history, a long relationship. The Ratchet friend interacted with her quite a bit, and we have reasonable cause to believe that they were not trying to gun her down. Now, why did he pull a pistol out? He very clearly fired. Whoever the unidentified shooter was, he very clearly fired at Shadow Dancer. But the question is, did he hit her? Now, we did some projectile analysis, and our artist's rendition clearly depicts where the rounds went from the Glock. They could not, at any angle, have struck Shadow Dancer, and I'll explain why. It's due to the ideal gas law theory. Now, for those of you who are not scientists, you may have to ask around or find an encyclopedia. Ideal gas law essentially explains that when the air is warm outside and you fire a handgun, that round and its trajectory is anything but predictable. Now, again, you'll have to look it up. Don't just take my scientific word for it, but I have studied this law for hours, and I believe it. So where does that leave us? The unidentified shooter was clearly not in the original video released. So what could have happened? We believe here at Buck Sharpe Radio there was a conspiracy, a cover-up. Someone didn't want you to know that Shadow Dancer was not gunned down by the Brotherhood of Sword. Now, it's easy to pile on to Sword's back. They've caused enough controversy as it is over the last 9 months. But does that mean that they would gun someone down in cold blood? Yes, of course it does. We all know that. That's a dumb question. But why? Why would they have shot her right there and right then? Again, kind of a dumb question. We all know. But I don't think that's enough evidence to show that Sword gunned her down right there, especially in the face of this new evidence that we've got. Now, I would take callers right now, but my blood pressure is rising, and I'm going to start drinking. Oh, my Lord. All right. So, where were we? Back on track. It's obvious that the second shooter in this image, newly released, is Shadow Dancer's killer. That, we believe, is 100% accurate and unbiased. Let me just say, it is unbiased. And you know, if we say it, it's got to be true. Here on Buck Sharpe Radio, the most unbiased news you can get. But how did we not see this before? If there really was a second shooter, how did we not know? So I would ask this question, and I would hope that you would all ask this question of your friends and your neighbors and of anyone in any sort of power in your area. How do we as the people accept everything that is handed to us on a silver platter? You tell me that she was shot by Sword, and I believe it, because I trust you. But I think, if anything, we should know that we are past the point of trust in this post-apocalyptic, God-forsaken world. So, I ask again, why do we take everything that we are told for granted? Now, I was going to have Buck Sharpe here on the radio with us. He was unable to come this afternoon. We will continue this conversation, though, in the future. I want to get his perspective now. We haven't talked about it. This isn't something that we have written together. I want his honest-to-God opinions on what might have happened with this newly released evidence. This damning evidence of the unidentified shooter. Now, we are going to get to the bottom of this by hook or by crook. And with your help, I think we can identify the shooter. So what I'd like to ask is, rather than calling in today, I won't take any callers today because this is too important. It's too important that we trust everything that's handed to us by our leadership, and it needs to be questioned, and it needs to be backed up with hard data. Much like the gas law that I mentioned earlier, we need to be able to provide scientific evidence, clear evidence that the shooter was not Brotherhood of Sword. We need to know before we put someone on a tribunal, which you may have heard about earlier in the show here by Buck Sharpe and Gil. I believe they talked about this. We need to know beyond the shadow, I see what I did there, shadow, of a doubt that the shooter was Brotherhood of Sword before anyone, and I say anyone, goes on trial. And with this new evidence, I do not believe that we can, in good faith, hold that trial in an unbiased fashion against Sword until we know who was present, who was firing live rounds, and who the real killer was. So I want everyone to take a look at that image. Take a good look. And I want you to call in tomorrow, and we will take a look at this together. Now, I'm going to try and bring Buck on there. I'm going to try and get a few guests as well. And I want to be able to have an open and honest conversation about what might have happened to Shadow Dancer. This is a topic that's important to the people of Chernarus. It hits close to home with many of its citizens, and we need to know the truth. And that's what we do here in the Danger Zone. We take a topic and we nail it to the wall. I'll have an update for all of you tomorrow morning on the Danger Zone with Hazard Collins on Buck Sharpe Radio Live.
I can't hear you if you're talking. I'll find my way up to the station there. Just so you know, I'm alive, and I need a fresh cup of coffee when I find you. Let's get rid of this pissing cold caused by that pissing rain.
Howdy, everybody. This is Buck Sharpe. Obviously, you're listening to Buck Sharpe Radio on episode 98 of the Buck Stop. We talked about a great number of things. Now, I know from experience that a good deal of you really enjoy this program and all the other programs on Buck Sharpe Radio. Now, I need to bring you some fairly sad news. During Old Mouthful's cult invasion, we had several of our other studios go dark. What that means is we kind of have lost touch with some of our regular programming. And now I don't know if they're going to be back. I don't know if they did. It's very difficult to say at this point. I could not say for sure. But let me list off. See, I got right in front of me here. Everybody, we're going to be missing, and I'll speak a little bit about that later. But Gunther's auto repair time. Hadn't heard from Gunther in a good minute now. I don't know if he's going to be back on or not. Cecilia's plate corner. No Cecilia. No more plates. Well, circle of fucking plates. She left plates fucking everywhere. But I ain't seen Cecilia in a couple of days now. Also got Potato's computer repair. Now Brandon, obviously a potato computer repair there. He's kind of fucking swirly from the get go. I don't know if he just fucking off on another bender or if he did a fuck. It's hard to say. So those are gonna be it for our regular shows. In addition, I had a number of vendors. There's the Jerky Town Junk Town. New fella. Something Jerky Town junk vendor, something like that. A guy named Johnson. He hadn't been around. He had some advertisements due to lack of payment. We had to pull those. Again, I don't know who's dead, alive, what the case may be. But let old Buck put this out there to you. If you have an interest in Buck Sharpe Radio, whether that be like the Junktown Jerky vendor, a little 30-second radio spot that you want to put on there, advertisement such as wares, goods, services, things of that nature, you let old Buck know. And for a pretty reasonable price, we'll get you hooked up with a little radio ad. In addition, right now we're fairly low on hosts. We got some more people. Adriana Baker going to be picking back up with us sometime next week. She's been a bit of a hiatus recently. We got several others. Got a newcomer here, Plato Jones, going to be coming back to us. He's been out for quite a while now, old Plato, but he does some good work, and we're looking forward to having him back on the station. But if you got any inclinations, abilities, or interests to being up on the fucking radio in front of folk, please give old Buck a ring on obviously not on a fucking phone. I ain't got no fucking phone working, but get a hold of me on radio or whatever the fuck you got, pigeon maybe, and we'll get you a spot. We got room for hosts. Want to get our programming right back up to where it was. So again, I appreciate your time, and that's it for fucking Buck Sharpe Radio. Thanks for tuning in, y'all.